What is up, For Honor family? So a conversation started in the comments thanks in large part to the Valkyrie Hero Fest execution. Someone mentioned that they like the respectful executions. I agree with that because I think it's good to have variety anyway, and I also like the respectful executions. Then someone else responded that the long respectful ones are the most disrespectful. So it got me curious as to what this community thought, and if there was a consensus one way or the other. I have my thoughts, but I'm going to reserve those towards the end of this video. So first, let's quickly talk about executions. Executions are a great way to put an exclamation point on a takedown. The beauty about them is how stylish they can be, how simple they can be, how purposeful they can be, but also how long or short they can be. There are a ton of reasons a particular execution is used versus another. Let's start with the basic, more simplest game reason that they are used. Regardless of perk or feat loadout, you regain health when you execute a player. That obviously helps you survive longer, but it also keeps the opponent executed from coming back to the battlefield faster. Therefore, executions can play a subtly important role in the game. Think about at the end of the game, when you're about to go in breaking. Some people will use a long execution in hopes they can time it up with the breaking score, keeping that opponent from respawning. There's nothing spiteful about that. However, the circumstances leading up to that point could have brought out some emotions from players on either side that makes it appear more disrespectful than it is, especially if they are using the resounding defeat execution, which you'll see a little later. Outside of the basic in-game related reasons, we only have 4 slots, and a lot of heroes, especially the year 1 heroes, have a ton of executions to choose from. When you equip a new execution, you 100% want to put it to use. If you end up on the business end of that execution, I'll be the first to tell you it's nothing personal. So if you execute me back, there's no need to drop the horn over my dead body. And we all know what you're doing by using that emote. Heck, a lot of time I sync up the execution with fashion and it becomes a whole thing. It's a whole feel, a whole vibe, you know? It's another element that adds to the fun of the game. There are different strategies behind executions. You know how many times we end up with low health, we're in a team fight, but we want to get that execution off to get a little health. What do you end up doing? You go with the quick executions that you equip to the tap of a button versus holding it down. Even with all the uses of executions that are ultimately to help you and your team win, people no doubt use them to be disrespectful. I'm not going to just be blind and naive and say that they don't. They then throw in an effect to really let you know how they feel, whether it be that spider that's puking on you or that horn emote that I was just talking about. The devs know how this stuff can be used, and I do believe including it is a way of encouraging that behavior, but I'm not personally bothered by it. If you're bothered, just make sure you return the favor. No one goes through every match without dying. You'll have your opportunities. You just got to take advantage of them. Circling back to what my thoughts are on executions and if I think they are disrespectful, I don't think the majority of them are. It's an execution. So depending on the mood of the player that's getting executed and how he or she feels about the way they got into the situation to be executed, they're going to feel some certain way regardless. The blame shouldn't be on the execution itself. That's just the emotion of the player and how they are assessing the intentions and actions about what's occurred on the battlefield. However, there are universal and hero-specific executions that are straight up disrespectful, and I don't think anyone can tell me any different. So let me quickly show you one execution by design that I think is 100% disrespectful just by the nature of the execution. It's called Unarmed Fighter. This really doesn't get that bad until the end, where the hero gives you the "and stay down" kind of move, you know? That's really what does it for me. When they do that "and stay down," I'm like, come on, man. The most disrespectful execution is resounding defeat. I'm sure you've seen this used or used on you. Getting kicked and, dare I say, shamed while you lie on the ground helpless is pretty messed up. Just try and remember, y'all, it's a game and that player on the other end is just trying to have a good time like you are. So next time you face off, show them how much fun you're having too. And remember, accidents do happen. There are times when I use JJ's execution "stay down" and absolutely don't mean to. Most times when I use this one is at the end of a match, and there's really no ill will, and if you think there's any ill will towards you, it's probably because of something you've done in the match that would make you think this is retaliatory. So are executions disrespectful or a sign of disrespect? The true answer is some are not. Some players are just playing the game and performing executions in their own strategic way. Some are just trying to get off a new execution purchase. Some could be looking to take out life's frustration on you because they had a bad day. But the bottom line is, if you never get too emotionally wrapped up in any match, none of it will even matter. It's all about your own personal emotional approach. I have found myself really liking those respectful ones a little bit more. I wouldn't even say a little bit more, but more than others. A lot of the executions, they're kind of emotionally neutral. They're just about getting some health, having a stylish execution and enjoying it, And there is really no disrespectful way of doing it. I mean, they're all taking heads off, or you're being impaled. You know what I'm saying? So they could all be taken with a little measure of disrespect, but I don't think they're necessarily disrespectful in their makeup. But what do y'all think? Do you believe executions are disrespectful? Do you enjoy the respectful executions if you believe there are disrespectful executions? Let me know your thoughts on executions in general. I'll tell you one thing I wish we had, a wheel where we could select the execution we want, and that way we would get more options for executions. I think an 8 execution wheel would be good. Then as a player, you just better know which ones you've selected. You have to keep track of that somehow. But thank you all for watching. There are many videos you could be tuned into, and you tuned into this one today. I'll always appreciate that. Keep looking out for each other, even if it's interrupting a disrespectful execution. Keep it positive. Until next time, y'all. Peace.